Let's go to eat again.
So what's happened now, it seems to me, with these prop bets, Lubie, is that it's kind of like fantasy football has just turned into total degeneracy football. And, they're asking, I mean, think about this. Why would I be aware that there was a proposition bet out there, the over-under number of touchdown passes from Mac fucking Jones? Who cares how many touchdown passes he throws? He's going to play for the Patriots this year. You're thinking the Patriots are burial city. Are they not? Maybe Belichick finally calls it quits. He snaps during the course of the season. He realizes, what am I doing? I got Matt Patricia calling plays? Hey, Matt, throw the ball.
Exactly.
Logic, I mean, has no business in sport. That's why these businessmen all fail. We would be successful as sports team owners, but we don't have the money to own a team. Almost every fan could fall into the same category.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Good morning, world. Hello, one and all. First off, usually when this situation happens, when you're just seeing me, myself, solo, we give you a heads up, right? We're not. It's funny, the old school radio mentality. Would tell us this early on. It's like, well, we're gonna be off around Christmas. Don't tell anyone. Like, what? Don't let them know. They'll go away. I'm like, they're gonna turn it on and go away anyways. What the hell's the difference? Like, why wouldn't we let them know? First of all, especially with when it comes to, and it eventually did happen, when it comes to Defo and I, you never know. If we're not on air, you assume we were fired, right? So when you want to know, oh, thank God. Okay, so they're going to be off that day. Cool. Like, radio is such a weird world. Like, they literally would warn us, don't tell them. We're not going to be on tomorrow. Don't tell them. What the fuck does that mean? Don't tell them. Yeah, don't let them know. They won't listen. What does that mean? First of all, they're not going to listen. No one ever listens to the backup. So whether they know or they don't know, they're going to turn it on, not listen, or know ahead of time, not listen. So you'd rather be honest with them, because again, in this freaking business, when someone's not there, like you get 2 weeks, they give you some notice, radio. No, they're scared to death. You're going to go on air and blast them, which no one does. I mean, it's rare the person that goes on air and blasts them, because you realize that your next job is one knob away. Like, you're not going to go on air and just slam someone like that. It's rare the child that does that. Like, most people are grown adults. You never burn a bridge, especially in this business. And you've seen people who are really lofty do it because they know that they can. But most people don't go on air and slam someone, So you should give them notice and let them finish off. That's something that should happen. But it doesn't happen in this business, because you have a live microphone. And the minute you're gone, they want you gone. You do a show, you have no idea. You go into an office, and they're like, all right, we're done. It's like, what? We've been doing this for a long time. Don't we get to say goodbye? No goodbye. You don't get a goodbye. So that's the thing, because that's how it happens. You would think you want to give people a notice. Yeah, we're not going to be on tomorrow. We're going away. We're not going to be on. It's Thanksgiving. Duh. Like, even Thanksgiving. I remember we would do best subs for Thanksgiving years ago. And people, they would be like, don't let them know. I'm like, it's Thanksgiving. Do they really think we're freaking indentured servants? Like, I presume they assume, like, they have to work on Thanksgiving and we're giving them something, they're happy that we're giving them something. But I presume they don't think it's us. I understand that, we love this and we do this all the time. We don't take many days off, but most people assume Thanksgiving is one of those days. So usually when this happens, that's where this started. I've been with Defo a long time. I know how to do the tangent thing and then come back. We give you a heads up, Defo will talk about his trip for like a month and a half. Like, Defo is very interesting about letting you know the trips he's going on like a year before. Like, my wife doesn't tell me half the time the trip we're going on the week before. But, well, yeah, either Shirley books a trip 9 months out, or like in 3 weeks. She's like, oh, we're going to Italy. What? So, usually Defo's the opposite. Defo like hammers his trips. Like, Defo talks about his trips throughout every show for like days on end. Well, he was supposed to be here today, so that's why we haven't talked about this trip. He's also was in New Orleans like a week and a half ago. He loves New Orleans and Atlantic City. You haven't noticed that. He'll throw a Vegas trip in there once in a while. But New Orleans, Atlantic City, those are Defoe's like second and third hometown. Probably Atlantic City comes before New Orleans. Only Defo. Only Defo would rather Atlantic City over New Orleans. But he does like New Orleans, so I'll give him that. He's supposed to be here today. Find out yesterday afternoon. Got the trip wrong. So 6 p.m. was really 6 a.m. But good for him. Because knowing Defo, he would have done it today. So I give him credit. At least a day before he looked at the plane ticket. Yeah, look, I'm not great at that. Shirley will book these trips, and she's amazing at it. And you should follow my wife at Chasing Churls on Instagram, TikTok. We're going to have her doing some stuff here soon. She's the traveling guru. She loves traveling. She's done a lot of it. She's in her late 20s, and she's traveled the world. Literally, she's been to like 60 countries. She's great at it. It's a pain in the ass to travel with her because she wants to see everything in like an hour and a half. But you'll see everything in an hour and a half. Like, you'll see. If you're willing to freaking make a move, my wife will make sure you see goddamn everything in that place. Literally, we were in Italy, France, 2 countries for like 10 days, and we went to like 20 cities. I'm not lying. Like, that happened. She gets mad when I mix the cities up because to me, when you're seeing a bunch of old shit, all right, oh, there's a Coliseum. Okay, there's a, okay. You know, like, to me, it all blends together. She gets mad when I say that. But she's great at traveling. She loves traveling. She's amazing with it, you know, and she remembers everything, and she knows when the day of the flight is and what time it is and what the airport is and what lounges they have and what's the climate in the airport and where's the gate. She knows all this shit. I know nothing. I'm like, I know we're leaving like a Thursday. I think it's the 18th. You know, I don't know any of that shit. So I can't really make that much fun of Defo for that because I do the same thing. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I know we have a trip. I'm excited. I make sure I know the dates. And she spoiled me in that regard. Like, first of all, the reality is she doesn't want me to plan a trip. Like, she's like, you don't plan a trip. I'll plan a trip. But I'm telling you right now, it won't be the trip you want to go on. So that's why she plans a trip. But I've been, I guess, spoiled. We'll use that term. You know, I'm spoiled that she does everything. So if she's going to do everything and I'm going to do what she wants, then to me, it's like, all right, what the hell do I, just let me know when and I'll be packed and I'll be good. So I can't fault Defo for that because, oh yeah, Joe Rose. So I can't fault Defo for that, for not really knowing the time. He thought it may be the morning, and then all week he was like, oh no, it's evening. And he said it on air, it's evening. I'm like, all right, cool. So Defo will be here. So Thursday, we're at Trivia, Landlubbers. Andy, great seeing Andy, man. The Teflon Don, the one that literally has every body ailment, but then will still go out with a chick and still be at Trivia. Like, the only person I've ever seen go out and bring the computer. My wife works. She works a lot. And when we go out, she doesn't bring her goddamn computer. Andy will bring his fucking computer. He's answering trivia, having a drink, eating a sandwich, hitting on a chick, asking about this other woman, and he's fucking doing stocks. Like, I've never seen that, like, ever. The guy's a madman. So I appreciate him coming out. Appreciate everyone that does support. Our Landlubbers trivia has gone crazy. So I appreciate everyone that supports that. So I'm at Trivia, and I get text. Like, that's what's great about Defo. Defo will be like, leaving. Where? Wait, what? What am I supposed to do with that? So I get a text from Defo. Stan got it wrong. Like, got what wrong? What are you talking about? Like, it's 6 a.m., not 6 p.m. I'm like, well, obviously. Of course, that's what was going to happen. Is you're going to tell me the day before at 6 o'clock at night when I'm already busy. I don't even get home till 9. So, like, what am I going to do about that? So I say all that to tell you that's why you have me. Hello. Good morning. And yes, I've been blowing my nose. Alex Sufrane, the tremendous proprietor of Landlubbers, made fun of me. What am I supposed to do? Like, I can't leave. Like, I'm here. My nose, it's been bothering me. I don't think it's COVID. I feel fine. I feel perfectly fine. But I have a friggin' stuffy nose. It's goddamn annoying. It happens every time. That's the only thing that happens to me. Thank God. I'm lucky. Andy has a lot of stuff. I have nothing to complain about health-wise. Even Defo, even Mayo had a little scare. He's great. So we're very lucky. Our programs, for the most part, have good health. So I can't complain. But I get the fucking stuffy nose, and it's the most annoying thing. It's not painful. I don't know what sandwich to tell you, Mayo Man. Good luck. I have no idea. Look, Defo's not here. You can do a damn taco. I think a taco's a sandwich. Defo's like a weird stickler about it. Do a taco. I love tacos. Do like the birria tacos. My wife loves the goddamn birria tacos. It's popular. It's different. It's fun. And you're dunking something. It's like a French dip, right? A French dip's a sandwich. Get a birria taco, dunk it in the juice. And that would be a great sandwich today for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox every day right here, South Florida Live at 12 p.m. But so anyway, so Defo lets me know that. So no Defo. Okay. So I'm here. I appreciate you following us. It will be a full Degenerate Friday. And if I'm late on your messages, I'm sorry. But I apologize. Yes, I have been the last 3 days, I've been blowing my nose on air. There's nowhere for me to go. It's not radio anymore. Okay. I turn my mic off. I try to duck down. But it is what it is. My nose is stuffy. I will apologize. I don't see the reason to, no one touches my equipment. Like anyone who's like, oh my God, he's blowing his nose in this world. Believe me, I still wear a mask. I don't care if you wear a mask. I don't give a shit what you do. It's your body, your choice. That's actually how I believe in all parts of life. Sure, I think that's a disgusting sandwich, but Pramonti Brothers is a great move. Do Pramonti. There used to be one out west here. I think there's still the one out east. So you want Pramonti Brothers? That's a great sandwich. Go for it, Mayo Man. So anyways, I don't sanitize because no one's touching the stuff. I'm in a room that no one goes in, and I have a stuffy nose. I don't get allergies or sinuses. I just have a stuffy nose. I was around a bunch of kids Saturday, and that's the math, and the random kids. I'll be around my basketball kids all season, didn't get sick. Since COVID, that's what's cool. That's the funny thing. People bitch about the mask. I haven't got sick this little in my life. In 2.5 years, this is the first time I've had a stuffy nose in 2.5 years. So I continue to wear the mask because that's why you get sick when you're around random ass people doing random ass things. There are germs. You say what you want about COVID. I don't give a shit. I'm not fighting you. But germs in the air is what gets you sick. You're wearing a mask. Might not be 100%. I don't know what the goddamn percentage is. But you're wearing a mask. It cuts down on the germs. That's just logic. So I still wear a mask when I go into department stores. Yeah, right. That's not true. A guy we're supposed to have on our Believe podcast is Iron Man. Iron Eagle will join us in a couple weeks. So anyways, I apologize. It is crude. It is tacky. And I make sure I get rid of the noise. So that's a positive. At least I think that's helpful. And I'm sanitary. I promise. I don't come in contact with any human. I'm in a room by myself. No one else touches the equipment. No one. I'm the only one that touches the equipment. And if someone were to, then I would Lysol the crap out of it. So I haven't forgot. Even if you never thought this, the Great Supreme made fun of me because you can see me blowing my nose on there. Most people would take off. I don't take off. I've never called in sick. Even this being our thing that I can take off if I want to. Can't. Told me yesterday, Devo's not here. I'm not feeling my best. We're here. This is what we do. It's a Degenerate Friday. You got to have a Degenerate Friday. We can't miss out on Degenerate Friday. And we'll have, not full-fledged, next week we'll finally have a full-fledged Degenerate Friday. Mark Lawrence will be back, but 720, the man is hot. Even when he was a little off last Thursday, the Greek still bringing it. Was 3-1-1 last week. He's now 16. I think he's 16-6-1. 16-6-1 in his plays here on South Florida Live. And his preseason plays are 3-1-1. So we're going to have the Greek at 720. He will give some more preseason action. The one man that I don't know if he watches it, so I don't know how serious he takes it, but he's really good at picking preseason. We've mocked him for 6 years, and he's proved us wrong every year. I think he's had a winning percentage picking games in the preseason every year, 100%. So good for him. I still think it's ridiculous. I tried to watch the game last night. The professor who does the trivia with me wanted to get home to watch the game. He's not wrong. They played Fields for a couple series. So I guess for a half a quarter, you could have some football. So I get that, but they're leaving. Fields does 2 series and then he's gone. So who gives a shit? To me, again, the professor is sort of into the preseason, not big, but sort of. The Greek is into it. He literally, he's not wagering right now, but his whole life he wagered on NFL preseason. So he took it damn serious. I like that there's football on. I turn it on and then I sit down and then I'm like, oh, this isn't football. And then I change the channel. So that's literally what I did last night. The Dolphins game, I watched the beginning and the end. I didn't watch the middle at all because it was horrendous. But the game was so close at the end, and everyone loved Skylar Thompson for looking average that I was like, I might as well finish this. This is what people are going to be talking about all week. It's Skylar Thompson. So, but other than that, it's NFL preseason. I mean, that's what it is. So, anyway, just stuck with me. We will be taking a break here shortly, and we will come back with the one and only Greek. We will have the professor with his big board, top 5 at about 8 o'clock. And Mike Mayo, Mr. Sandwich, the man, as my parents would say, is going to become a sandwich, who's now had, because that's the thing, he's like doing these 2 and 3 sandwich days where like people are splitting. I think it's become a thing where people are just trying to egg him on, because yesterday at Broad Shoulders Sandwiches thought we'd get a sandwich, maybe 2. First of all, they have like every sandwich known to man. I've never seen a place have such a range in like food choices. Like they have a banh mi, they have a po' boy, then they have a muffaletta, and then they have a Cuban. Like they're all over the place, and every sandwich was great. But they bring up 5. So the dude who's already had like, 19? I think he had 3 or 4 sandwiches more than the days, because he doubled up some days. 23 sandwiches, and I was at like 28. Like the month is done, and we still have like half a month left. So we'll see today what sandwich Mike Mayo does. He's taking, I guess, suggestions for sandwiches. I'm open to the Pittsburgh sandwich, even though I'm not a big fan of French fries on a sandwich, because I like crunchy French fries. The minute you put it on the sandwich, they get mushy. So it's pretty much like putting mashed potatoes on a sandwich. And I'm not judging the Pramonti Brothers, and people love that stuff. I don't need, like, I want a French fry. I'll even take a bite and eat a French fry, but I want the crunch. Like when you put it on the sandwich, it gets mush. A mushy French fry makes no sense to me. So anyways, but you do you, Mr. Mayo. That'll be at 12 o'clock. There again won't be Defo, but you will have Mr. Mike Mayo and myself, today's lunchbox, and he will continue his assault on sandwiches, as I think he's had like 27. Again, I grew up, it's funny because like, I guess I'm not Caribbean, but in a way I was spoiled. Like my mom, we always get hot food. So I never liked sandwiches. I was never like, let me have a sandwich. I actually, once I got to college, I opened up, because again, you're broke and you'll eat anything. So I never wanted ramen. I never went to proverbial ramen route, but I'd eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly, a lot of bologna, turkey, whatever, ham. But growing up, I never liked sandwiches. Like I want something hot. Well, we're in a great world where there's a lot of hot sandwiches, and Mayo's, by the end of this month, I found them all. So check that out at 12 o'clock coming up. Next, we will have the Greek, the one and only Greek, the man who is hot. He's on fire. He is 16-6-1 with his plays, covering all sports. He is 3-1-1 with his preseason plays. He'll have some more preseason action for you coming up next. Sorry, no Defo. Sorry, I am even more. It's funny. I'm always nasally. Now I'm even like nasally times 10. I apologize for that. If I do blow my nose, I apologize for that. That is not proper etiquette. We've really thrown the book out on etiquette, because Defo always gave me shit for eating on air. So I never do, even now. Like when we go to these places for the lunchbox, for the Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun, every dish under the sun Thursdays with Nikki Mohan, I won't touch the food. Mayo goes forward. Nikki dives in. Nikki actually yells at me if I don't have a dish. And so, not like being mean, but like the food's there. So why wouldn't we eat? It just doesn't dawn on me, because I'm worried about the program. I'm worried about the content. Worried about doing a show after we eat. That's what we've done for 12 years. Defo was really weird about that. As much as Defo bullshits, he's really weird about like on-air etiquette. So I don't eat. Well, Mayo, literally, I've never seen a human being. The way Defo, if you've ever heard him talk about how I ate that crab sandwich in San Francisco, first of all, the sandwiches is fucking ridiculous. The crab's everywhere. How do you eat it without getting it on your face? But whatever. I did eat it, and it got on my face. That's Mayo with every sandwich. He takes the whole sandwich, he looks at the goddamn thing like it's a competition, and then he goes in. Face first, not like mouth. It's just head on, like a collision. So he does that on there. Nikki Mohan, who's been around in this business a long time, well-known, proper, tremendous broadcaster, elegant, classy. She dives right in, goddammit. She doesn't give a damn. So if they can do that, I figure it's not so bad if I'm blowing my nose. Again, I apologize. I'm sorry if I'm not spreading germs. I promise you there's no one in this room. When come to this room, I'm the only human being that touches the equipment. So if I wasn't being sanitary enough, it's only because there's no reason to. I'm the only one touching the stuff. But I promise you, I'm following all CDC and all that shit. Stay away from people. Leave me alone. I don't want to get anyone sick. I have consideration. I just can't take off. That's sort of the world we're in. We're starting a new thing. Like I can't be taking days off. So we're here. Hopefully you can bear with me. I know there's no Defo. There's nothing like Defo. This show is not the same without Defo. But hey, I did a whole segment without sports. So that's Defo, right? A whole segment. Sarni won't like it. Sarni will complain because I'm not. Eric would lose it because he wants us to do hardcore sports. It's like he's never watched or listened to our show before. When I have to peeling the curtain back, I set up guests so that we talk sports. Because if I did not set up guests, Defo would talk about playing stickball in the 1930s, how it was invented, and the stick they used. So I try my best to keep us to sports. But in honor of you, Mr. DeForest, I did an entire segment and have not talked any sports. Look at me. I've evolved into a sports talk host that doesn't talk sports. The dream. Coming up next, we will talk some sports with a man who knows his stuff. It's ridiculous. I think it's lunacy, but when it comes to picking NFL preseason games, the Greek is great at it. He's done it for years with us, and he'll do it again. He's 3-1-1 in the preseason. He's 16-6-1 overall on South Florida Live. Following that, we will have the professor and his hilarious. And people think my cackle is fake. Like I'm telling you, there's plenty of times where I don't laugh. If I laugh, I mean it. Now it's the most ridiculous laugh, just like this stupid ass voice that I have. But it's genuine, I promise. And the professor makes me laugh. The one guy that bitched, it hasn't been good since Coach K, which like 2 months ago. I think that's a load of garbage. 1 week he had nothing because no one's been fucking up in the world of sports. So he had nothing the morning of and cobbled something together that I still thought was good. So I don't know. I guess there's different degrees of the professor's big board top 5. He makes me lose it every week. He pushes the envelope. Good for him. We're in a world, and he does it on both sides. Ken doesn't give a shit. You really wouldn't know what his political leanings are if you listen to him. He can't stand Trump and DeSantis. He also thinks Biden's old and senile and can't stand AOC. He's fair game. He's all in, which is what we try to do. So if he offends you, good. That means he's doing his job because he covers all the bases. He offends everyone. As long as you're an equal opportunity offender, you're good in my book. So the professor with his big board top 5 will join us around 8 o'clock. And then we'll have Mr. Sandwich himself. I don't know if we'll get a sandwich tease, because he actually gets them fresh. That's the reason why we all aren't doing sandwiches is I don't have time to run somewhere and get a goddamn sandwich. Like I do stuff between the shows and Defo does Defo. Mayo actually goes and gets sandwiches every day. So I don't have the time to do that. But I appreciate his diligence, his persistence, and his professionalism when it comes to the craft, where he takes it serious enough to get a fresh sandwich every day. So Mayo will see around 12 o'clock what sandwich he has, but he'll join me around 8:30, and we'll get his alter ego, the Gambling Gourmet, the man who's been gambling his face off and winning this last week. So got some great news. So good for him. Really happy. And did a lot of winning. So good for him. So we'll talk with the Gambling Gourmet at 8:30. And the Greek coming up next right here. No Defo, just Lubie, the Defo show right here on South Florida Live. Coming up next with the Greek.
Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
You know what I'm gonna do? Because you don't ever give me a face shake. You know that? So I'm gonna let you talk to Victor Ortiz, all right? I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a face shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know about boxing. You ain't you got
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
I didn't know you were leaving.
All right, and welcome back, one and all. Defo Show, no Defo, just Lubie here on South Florida Live. This man is also part of South Florida Live. He's our lone handicapper for now. We'll open it up to much more handicapping. Of course, it is Defo infused, so there's got to be some handicapping. But right now, he is our lone strictly handicapper here in South Florida Live, and he's killing it. He's 16-6-1. That incorporates a USFL play, some Major League Baseball plays, and preseason. Three things that most people don't gamble on. This gentleman gambles on it all. Literally, will gamble on elevators at a casino. We now welcome the one who is 3-1-1 in his NFL preseason plays, was 2-0 last week on the show. The Greek joins us yet again here on the Defo Show, no Defo, just Lubie. Good morning, Greek. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great on a Friday, baby. Get ready for week 2 preseason football. Devo again in another city. I said lately he has changed. He's like Lady Gaga. Every time I call in, he's someplace. This is a guy who wouldn't drive to Jupiter. Now all of a sudden he's in Italy, Rome, New Orleans, Jersey. My God, what a change of heart he has been. But yeah, great day talking to you, buddy. Always on a Friday. I got some preseason. We'll give you 3 more picks this weekend.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, because that's a part. A lot of the times people don't want to bet on things because that means they have to watch it. And I get it. You may not always watch what you bet on. Do you, in your heyday, okay, I know you've taken time out. You're doing the contest. You're not gambling like you used to, but you're still involved. Do you watch these games? Like when you pick games for us, do you have to sit there and watch the entire game? Because that must be dreadful if that's the case.
You bet 5,000 on the game, you watch it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Years ago, I was sitting in Caesars one night, and this guy said to me, "How the hell can you bet on preseason football?" And I slid my ticket across, and he looked the amount I had, and he sat next to me, and he goes, "Give me a scotch. I'll watch it with you."
He's living and dying with every play just like you.
Anything can be interesting when cash is on the line. So, yeah, there's the motivation. But we got 3 picks for you this weekend. Okay. We'll start a fresh tally when the NFL starts.
Okay.
But we're going to go with Carolina plus 3.5 tonight over New England. Belichick does not care. He's more concerned about what his beagle's going to eat. He doesn't care about preseason. We got our Miami Dolphins against the Raiders, and I'm down here 20 years. The first time ever people are calling me for tickets. Calling me for tickets for preseason football, which I cannot believe.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Really?
And the Dolphins, first time ever since 1966, sold out of season tickets.
Yep.
There's individual games, but their season ticket alignment is sold out.
Yep.
My God. And we got the Bengals getting 6 from the Giants on Monday night.
All right, so we got Carolina.
Those are the 3 games.
Carolina, Cincinnati getting what? I mean, I can look at
the Bengals are getting 6, Raiders getting 1, and Carolina 3.5.
Oh, so you're taking the Raiders, though. You're taking the Raiders and the Raiders or the Dolphins?
Raiders.
Okay, you're taking the Raiders. All right. So those are your plays. Now, how much of this will you watch? Like, I know you're not gambling. Has it changed your viewing habits? You used to have to watch it if you're gambling. Now that you're not gambling as much, do you find yourself not as interested? Is it literally like that was what kept you interested?
I mean, a little. I watch the Dolphins, but people text me throughout the games. It's this or that, stuff like that. But I mean, I always like to watch sports. I was at a restaurant the other night, and the NFL Network shows the games all different times, and the Steelers were on. This guy was sitting next to me, thought the game was live. I was going to bet him because it was Saturday night, but I didn't want to do it.
You've done that before.
Because they got football every night, Greg.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah, they do. You want to bet it? But no, it's preseason. Like I said, when a couple weeks is going to start, September 8th, we're excited. And, NFL is great. People were dying. College football's back. So, people really miss the NFL.
Yeah.
All this thing going on with the Watson. I mean, people don't really care. He gets suspended now 11 games, $5 million. It is what it is. I don't think he should be playing the whole season, personally. But, this is what they came up with, a compromise.
Well, and you and I've talked about it on your show, and you can check this gentleman out. The Penthouse is from 9-1, right? 9-1, and 10-2. I always forget that. 10-2 on the Penthouse, and then he's also is it 92.1? 92.1 FM. He's an FM person.
Yeah.
Unlike us, formerly AM. He's crossed over to the big time a long time ago. 92.1 FM in the Palm Beach area. And you can, if being FM, you can probably get it in Broward County as well. 10-2, then 3-5, our old home. Now they've made it what we thought they would eventually. 12:30, The Gambler. 3-5, 12:30 a.m. You can check this gentleman out. He does his thing, and I join him usually weekly. We've talked a lot about the watching thing. And look, my thing was, I don't care if it was a season or not. I just thought 6 games wasn't enough because they made it this big of a deal that it should affect the Browns. Like, if you're going to talk about this for parts of 3 seasons, then when a 17-game season, 6 games isn't bad enough. Like, their roster's good enough, they could go 2-4. And then now he has 11 games. Like, if they win 8 of those 11 games, it could be a playoff team. So to me, like,
oh yeah, they got a very good team. But the Browns owner came out yesterday and said he would sign him again. He believes everybody should have second chances. Yeah, because second chances, because that's what we signed for $223 million.
Exactly.
That's why it needs to be a second chance. So I mean, again, it's the NFL. If you could play, they're going to look the other way. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all football's all money. Big Ten signed a deal yesterday.
$7 billion.
TV contract, $7 billion. Billion. LeBron signs 2 more years for $97 million. Yep. And I'm getting gas with change. Gas with change, Lubie.
Hey, you're talking to the wrong person. Remember, I'm in my parents' front bedroom now doing broadcasting. So I totally understand that sentiment. Yeah, there's a lot of money involved, and I have no problem with the players getting it. It's just interesting that the college players are finally getting it, and people are bitching about the NIL when they just signed a $7 billion deal. It's like the NFL isn't worth $7 billion. Like, it's nuts.
Unbelievable, bro. Yeah. You should call in to the Gambler today if you get a chance.
Yeah, I'll give you a call later today. Check this gentleman out again. 10-2, 92.1 FM, The Penthouse, and 3-5, 12:30 a.m. The Gambler. Greek, thanks again. His plays: Carolina plus 3 and a hook over New England. The Raiders +1 over the Dolphins, and Cincinnati +6 in their game. Check him out later on today. And we'll check him out next week right here on the Defo Show with hopefully Defo. Thanks, Greek, man. Appreciate it.
Have a great day, bro. Peace.
Be well. Talk to you soon. That is the one and only Greek, a man that, see, that's why when people say I'm the hardest, no, that's not that true. Like the Greek, he does a 4-hour show, takes an hour off. And he doesn't really take an hour off because he does a 4-hour show in studio. Then he travels to the Atlantic Motorsport dealership. It's a beautiful dealership to do his sports show from 3 to 5. Like, so, and he gets to, he's a program director for the station. So he gets, or I don't know what he's doing. He's involved in things with the station. Maybe he's just that good at what he does that I thought I don't know. He's highly involved in what goes on over there. So he gets there at like 8, does a show from 10 to 2, and then does a show does a show from 3 to 5. And then he has a show on Saturdays from, I think, 11 to 3. So no, he works his ass off, that guy, and he's been doing it a long time. And he's involved in selling the crap out of his stuff. Like, he does everything, and we appreciate his involvement in our show through the years when we sort of partnered up, did an hour every day for, was it 2-3 years? And Mike Nyman was a big part of that. He brought him on the station, who was an advertiser for him and involved with him, and they linked us up, and that helped get us a syndication where we were on in West Palm for 2-3 years. And we loved our time with Greek. Every day, join us for an hour, and then that spawned his own show. Now he doesn't need us. So maybe I'll join him later today. It's always fun talking with the Greek. We'll talk actually sports instead of, what I did that first segment. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in to me this morning. Defo is, by now, he's in, how long is it? Was it an hour and a half, 2 hour flight? He has the dreaded 6 hour flight, 6 a.m. flight. And I've done early flights. I don't know if I've done 6 in the morning. We were overseas. We had like a 6:30 flight. But I don't know. 6 in the morning is a lot, especially since you want to get there an hour to 2 hours beforehand. That's psychotic. So Defo was on an early flight, and he should be getting to New Orleans any minute. I hope he's back Monday. I really don't know. That's sort of how we do things here. What's great is people ask, Jim Cerny asked about prep the other day, and I laugh because, I forget all these shows do these monster prep, and I don't know, maybe they're better for it. I don't know. We don't. I tried. I'll never forget, the first month with Defo, when they offered Defo up to me, and I'd done some producing, but with iHeart, I was like a board op, and I always wanted to be on air and wanted to be involved in sports talk. So when they brought Jeff DeForest, who I had heard of, and I always heard positives about it, I was like, all right, I want to take this seriously. And I hadn't gotten no tips. No one told me, well, working with him is like this, or working with him is like this. So I do a show sheet, I do all this crap, set up guests, the whole thing. Start a show, never get to any of the stuff. I did that for 1 week. I did 1 week where I would do topics and articles and give them shit, and never talked about it. Never. I'm like, all right, I guess that's what this show is. So you bring a newspaper, write a couple notes, and we do a show. So that's what I do. I don't do anything. And that's why I talked about my sickness for 20 minutes. So yeah, everything's off the cuff, and that's with life. Defo with life is off the cuff. I'm going on a trip. I'm not. I am. I'm not. Okay. He's not here today. I think he'll be here Monday. Really don't know. With him, I don't know. But I think we'll be starting our Mondays with John Congemi. Remember, we'll be returning our Mondays with John Congemi. Thank you to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill of Key Largo. I think that's going to start this Monday. So hopefully Dave will be here. If not, then it'll just be John and I. Coming up next, it'll be the professor and I, the man, the myth, the legend of the Big Board Top 5. We'll talk a little college football. We'll talk a little NFL preseason because he's been keeping an eye on it a little bit better than I have. A little Dolphins. He is a very cynical, honest Dolphins fan. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, I have no idea what he's doing it on. Usually I get a heads up. I don't tell you all, but I get a heads up. No idea. So I'm going to find out, like you, for the first time in a few minutes, what this week's topic is for the professor's Big Board Top 5. We appreciate everyone checking in that has checked in. You can check us out on the Believe Network as well, and on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And you can check us out each and every day at 12 o'clock. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox has become a hit. We brought it on. I was doing it a little bit beforehand, but the idea was to have our own thing, have hopefully Mike Mayo involved, and he's a star. He's the star of South Florida Live. And look, in large part, him being disgusting and eating sandwiches on air. I mean, to be brutally honest, the thing that Defo mocked Hank, I don't think mocked because he respected Hank, God rest his soul, but he would always tell me, don't be Hank. Like, Hank would eat on air. And whenever food would be out at the station, I'd want to eat, and he would make fun of me, so I wouldn't do it. That's what Mayo does, and it's brought us a lot of attention. I think our most watched episode was the one where he disgustingly ate 5 hot dogs and almost passed out on air. So the one thing that Defo told me not to do for 12 years, Mayo does, and it's become highly popular. So thank you to Let's See South Florida, the group on Facebook that I think is at 86,000 members. Like Mayo's Lunchbox. We do it each and every day right here at 12 o'clock. He's been doing the month of sandwiches. This is National Sandwich Month. So every day he's had a sandwich. Literally, every day on the show, every day the weekend, he has a sandwich. So what sandwich does he have today? We'll see. At 12 o'clock coming up next. We'll have more of the Defo Show. No Defo. Just will be here on South Florida Live. The professor and his big board top 5. A lot going on in the world. We'll see. We'll see what the professor makes fun of today. Again, thank you to the Greek. You can check out his plays at South Florida Live. I'll update those. He's right now, again, he's 16-61 overall, 3-1-1 in the preseason. His plays again, Carolina +3 and a hook over New England. Las Vegas getting one. His lines are a little different than what I've seen, but whatever he goes with is what I give him. And we'll see what happens. Las Vegas Raiders getting 1 point down here in South Florida versus I don't know if they're my Miami Dolphins. And the Cincinnati Bengals. So runner-ups last year, getting six in their preseason action this weekend. So we'll see what happens with those plays. We'll see what hilarious topic the professor has next for his big board top. I appreciate you joining me. Coming up next, more of the Defo Show. No Defo, just Lubie, here on South Florida Live.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side? To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep, to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Alrighty, so we are efforting. Defo hates when I say that, but that's not what's happening because I'm not doing any effort. I'm here with you, but efforting to get in contact with the professor. He should be joining us shortly, but I never know with him. Unlike us, who were up early, go to bed early. He's a late night kind of guy, so I don't know if he was watching that preseason game, so maybe he's throwing some back. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, but we should get the professor at some point with his big board top 5. Following that, we will have the Gambling Gourmet and his degeneracy segment, where on the lunchbox we talk a little sports, but we don't talk a lot of sports. We talk a little degeneracy, we don't talk a lot of degeneracy. So the Gambling Gourmet, who is actually maybe more of a degenerate than Defo because he gambles daily, does poker, he goes and does blackjack, he goes out to casinos and actually gets involved in a way that even Defo doesn't. And he loves the horses. So he actually holds it in all week long and lets it out as the Gambling Gourmet on these Degenerate Friday. So we'll have him coming up and around 8:30. Talk about whatever the hell he wants to get into when it comes to the world of, usually it's horse racing, because he likes sports. He's involved in sports. There he is. Look at Mr. DeForest, Mr. New Orleans. He likes sports, but I get the feeling that Mayo, once he stopped covering sports, stopped watching it. Like, he'll talk about it here and there, but he never gets passionate about it. Because even Defo, who's not like a fan of teams like I am, he'll have passion toward this or that topic. Like, Mayo never, outside of his hate for the Panthers because Sifu got in his craw years ago, he doesn't really have a lot of passion, good or bad, when it comes to sports. But he does when it comes to horse racing, and it does when it comes to gambling. So he joins us these Fridays. We'll talk a little bit of food, and we'll talk a lot. I'll let him talk. I don't really know what's going on in the horse racing world, but if he's winning, which he is, he's between poker and horse racing, he's been winning this week. So when a guy's winning, like I've learned from Defo, ride him. So we'll have the Gambling Gourmet join us at about 8:30 to give maybe some horse racing plays. I mean, Gurgle's used to. He's sort of tapped out on his Perdomo play of the week. So we may have to get that back because he killed those. Like, he was great at the Perdomo play of the week. The Gambling Gourmet is really good when it comes to his gambling tips. So, and it's great. He's amazing. He is yet to steer me wrong when it comes to food. So 8:30, he'll join us. The professor should be joining shortly with his big board top 5. All right, so Devo and I have been talking about this for a long time. Really didn't know what to do with the Deshaun Watson thing. And look, I unlike this world where everything's black and white, and this business is supposed to be black and white, life isn't. Life is gray. Lots and lots of gray. The Deshaun Watson thing is gray, like it is. The reality is, when it comes to owners who should be held, if you're a billionaire who owns a business, you should be held more accountable, not less. Okay, not less, more. Like, we live in this world where, like, the billionaire is allowed to go be a lunatic in the corner talking to himself, and the middle manager is the guy that gets all the guff. No, you're the billionaire, you're the owner. The old saying goes, the buck stops there, right? The buck stops with you. But for some reason, especially in sports, outside of Stephen Ross is the one owner that they don't mind punishing, and he's just an idiot about how he handles stuff. But owners, especially in the NFL, get away with freaking murder. Jersey Kyle's good, I think. I haven't talked to Jersey in a while. He's a busy man. So owners get less trouble. Jerry Jones has been involved in a lot of fun things, never punished for a damn thing. Robert Kraft literally got spotted because they were doing an FBI sting into child sex trafficking, and he just so happened to walk out after visiting the place for the millionth time, even though it's freaking Jupiter, Florida. And he lives up in New England. Maybe he has a home in Palm Beach County, but, like, you're not going to Jupiter for a fucking rub and tug. Like, literally gets spotted by an FBI sting. Daniel Snyder is massively a harasser of women, at the least, if not more. And Jim Irsay was found in a car with drugs, alcohol, guns, and loads of cash. Like, he had just robbed a bank, and he was on meth. Like, nothing happens to any of these people. Nothing. Literally zero. They don't get any penalties at all. Deshaun Watson, look, it was weird. Like, the fact that he was involved with 60 different massage therapists. The fact that almost 30 women came out alleging misconduct, but not one is alleged rape. And not one, when you look at the stories, it's a little hinky. Like, when you get the background on it, he was dealing with sort of a madam in some sense who knew the deal. Look, here's the deal. Rub and tugs are illegal, right? And I'm using this term. I don't feel bad. We're on the internet, so I don't mind using the term rub and tug. Most 7-year-olds aren't watching this show, okay? So I don't mind using that term, all right? We're all adults for the most part. And if you're a child, you're going to get a rude awakening. I'm pretty honest with my nephews, so I'll try not to curse. But anyways, it's illegal, right? Just like until recently, weed was illegal, okay? But you could get weed anywhere if you were smoking weed, as long as it wasn't a ton. They really didn't hurt you. And now it's medically legal, meaning you can go buy it and no one's going to bother you. Rub and tug's the same thing. You go to a massage place. I'm sure your 1-year-old, Eric, has heard a thing or two. I've heard you just about the Marlins, let alone life. So anyways, you're going to a place like this. You know what the deal is, right? As long as you're not sex trafficking, which is as an egregious thing, I can't even imagine that it really happens to the numbers it does happen. The fact that you're in an airport, they're like, if you see something, say something. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. Someone had to tell me, you understand it's about sex trafficking. I'm like, we're in Atlanta. Like, yeah, it's like the capital. I'm like, Atlanta. Like, so that's an insane thing that actually does happen. It happens a lot, which is even more mind-boggling. Okay, the fact that so as long as you're not doing that, for the most part, they look the other way. We know it exists. Whatever, cool. You go there, you pay. I've never had it happen. I've never done it. I know people who have. I don't judge them. I don't give a shit. Do what you want. Again, I'm not a libertarian per se, but I lean to as long as you're not messing with me in my life or someone else in their life, and you're not really doing self-harm. Even if you are doing self-harm, it's your life. Do you, for the most part. Like, I really think prostitution should be legal because where it is legal, it's actually safer, not worse. Drugs, for the most part, should be legal because, again, where they're legal, they're safer, not worse. Gambling should be legal because, again, where they're legal, they're safer, not worse. So I'm more, do you, I'm going to do me. I'm not going to bother you. Don't bother me. Now, there should be some laws. There should be some regulations. That's how you have a society. But when it comes to certain things, it's not my place to tell you what to do with your life. Okay. So I when it comes to the rub, I don't care. I don't judge you. I don't give a damn. Fine. And there's an understanding. You go in the place. I get, from what I've been told, the woman gives you like a nod. You're like, sure. They do their thing. You throw them some cash. Good for you. Do your thing. Fine. Well, that's supposedly the idea that happened with Watson. Okay. Look, he didn't go to a website, wasn't getting massage therapists. He was going to friggin' Instagram. Like, Instagram is a lot of things, okay? Social media, all social medias have become a place where you can enjoy life and also do business. But Instagram isn't LinkedIn. Like, people aren't hiring people off of Instagram. Instagram is a place where you look at whatever the hell you like looking at and you get entertainment. So if you're getting massage therapists off of Instagram, I mean, it's huge. I can understand where there's an understanding. All right. And the word is that there was. Like, he threw the lady money. The girls knew what the deal was. Okay. Now, maybe he went too far. I don't know. The thing the whole time that was weird to me is, why would you go to 60? Like, don't you find the one, like a barber? You get the barber, the haircut, you go through a bunch of them, you find the person, you don't let that person go ever. Right. So to me, if you found the right massage therapist that really knew what they were doing, maybe have 3 or 4, but like, who needs 60? That was weird. 60 was weird. It was a weird number to go to that many massage therapists. And there was a lot behind this, right? The Deshaun Watson thing to me has areas, but they talked about it for like parts of 3 seasons. In parts of 3 seasons, this thing was a topic. So to me, I don't think he should be kicked out of the league. I don't think he did the most egregious thing. The fact that these owners don't get punished at all, sometimes for doing worse. But I will also, there's that. But again, he did something. There was civil suits levied against him. There were allegations. And the NFL supposedly is trying to, get better because they were horrible with Ray Rice. They were weird with Roethlisberger. They've been weird with all the owners. So they're trying to get a handle on, penalties and stuff like that. So to me, 6 games wasn't that. And I get it. The judge was just going off of the pack. Because, the passing NFL sucked. Ray Rice body slammed his girl in a goddamn casino, knocking her unconscious where she couldn't fucking move. I'm sorry, you're 1-year-old. Pardon my French, 1-year-old. And he got 2 games. Like, the NFL was a joke before. So her going off past precedence is stupid because past precedence doesn't equal to what they're trying to do now. So that's why he probably deserves 6 games, honestly, when you see the penalties that are out there. But this was such a big deal for so freaking long. The dude sat out a year. He left the team. You don't get rid of a franchise quarterback, but it was such a disaster that the Texans, who could use a quarterback, let him go because they didn't want to deal with it anymore. Like, you're going to make that big of a deal of it. 6 games is ridiculous. So I like the 11-game number for him, and that's the penalty that came out after the appeal yesterday. Deshaun Watson's going to get an 11-game suspension, not 6, $5 million, which is decently punitive. I mean, he got a $230 million deal. So $5 million, again, is a drop in the bucket, but it's something. And he'll have to be out 11 games, and that's something because we all saw Jacoby Brissett last year. He ain't a starting quarterback in this league. So 6 games, though, to me, you can go 2-4. Okay, now you have 11 games left. If you go 8-3, that's 10 wins. 10 wins can get you in the playoffs. So like I think 11 is a much better number. And I actually sort of agree. It's the first time the NFL did something that I think is about spot on. Did he do so? No, from what we know, he didn't. There was no rape allegations. There was no actual physical violence. It was creepy. From what we know, it was creepy. And he stepped over a line. Okay. I mean, guys need to know to be smarter. Like when you're making money, like Defo and I talk about this all the time. Like when you have loads and loads of money, there's Uber, there's Lyft, you can rent a car if you want. When you have loads and loads of money to get annihilated, drunk, drugs, whatever the hell you do, and then try and drive, makes it, even when you're broke, it doesn't make sense either. But when you have money, it really doesn't make sense. Like, why are you driving? You must have a homie, you must have a buddy that can drive you. Like, or every phone has it now. Uber, Lyft. Uber, Lyft. Get an Uber, get a Lyft. Like when you get these people getting in these accidents or, getting pulled over, because they're rocked and they're 100 millionaires, like it makes zero sense, And that's my thing. There's a smarter way to do things. Like we were talking about it with Andy yesterday at our trivia. Yeah, it was creepy. It was weird. Like there's smarter ways to do things. There's places where it's legal. Go to Vegas or just get a massage therapist and get a massage and go to a strip club. Like strip clubs, yeah, you probably have to spend more, but again, you're making $200 million. And at that time, he was making $50 million. Like, got to be smart. So half of it is being punished for being stupid. Look, Stephen Ross didn't do something that anyone else is not doing. Everyone's tampering. Stephen Ross was an idiot. Stephen Ross, half the teams the last decade have sucked for something, like have tanked. In some regard, a ton of teams have tanked here or there when it comes to the NFL. The Dolphins, so tanking wasn't the problem. You can't directly ask the coach. Let the coach coach. The coach will coach. Just give him shit. Give him a shit team, and if he does something with it, good for him. Like, you can't ask the coach directly to lose. You just can't, because there's got to be some semblance of competitive balance. Obviously, if one team has Tom Brady and one team has Cleo Lemon starting, it's already imbalanced. You can't then say lose two. He's got to at least try. So Stephen Ross always takes being an owner to a really stupid level. He's done that the entire time he's been an owner, and that's why he was punished. He's punished for being stupid, and he wasn't punished for doing something wrong because the owners have done worse. Robert Kraft, worse. Snyder, worse. Jerry Jones, probably worse. Jim Irsay, worse. Have all done worse things than Stephen Ross did. The problem is, what Stephen Ross did, the entire league's getting sued by Flores for his dumbass thing. And if true, which it is, I mean, he wasn't joking. You don't say something like that to another adult jokingly. So he wasn't joking. That can totally ruin everything. Like if NFL becomes wrestling, it may still be popular, but it's not the same thing as us thinking the results not decided. Like if its final games are being thrown, it's like the Donaghy thing. That's what the NBA was worried about with Donaghy, was that you could ruin the aura of legitimacy. Like even gambling, like when you gamble, you want to know that you have a shot. Like it shouldn't be decided already. How many people gamble on wrestling? Like I don't think wrestling is a big gambling industry, because you sort of know who's going to win. Like even in the biggest mismatches in sports, that's why there's a line, so it evens it out a little bit. And upsets happen all the time. Like in wrestling, it's rare, So the NFL, they have to protect that. They do. And Ross is an idiot on top of that. So, but you really get punished for being stupid, not being bad. So, and that's what he was here. Watson was stupid. Like, go do your thing. Go to Vegas. Go to overseas. Or go to a strip club. Have a massage. Make them two separate things. Massage therapist who actually works on your body. Strip club where you do work. If it's not legal, it's damn near. And you won't get any shit for it. As long as there's witnesses, no one can say he said, she said. You got to be smarter. And that's what he got punished for. And I think the punishment is pretty spot on. Coming up, no professor so far. I must be passed out, I presume. I don't know. It happens. It's fun. Defo told me the day before he's not going to be here. Professor is supposed to be here, not here. The show goes on, as they say. Like Defo said, just be there on time and talk. That's really what our job is, and that's what I try to do my best each and every day. And we try to give you, coming up at about 8:30, we will have the Gambling Gourmet. Mike Mayo will join me. No sandwiches here. We will have maybe some horse plays, maybe some food discussion, because that's what I like about Mayo is he's not only been to a lot of places, he's able to describe the location, the actual like restaurant, and the food in a way where it's very descriptive, but it's not like over my head. Like he knows all the I hate the term big words. He knows he has a wide vocabulary in describing food where he could go high, but he brings it down. I don't know if that's Let's See South Florida, if that's being a columnist, but he describes the things in a way where it's interesting, entertaining, and understandable. So that's why I love our connection with Mike Mayo, because I learn a lot about places and foods and going into the weekend. Like, it gives me an idea. Okay, maybe Shirley and I will try this place. Maybe we'll try that place. So hopefully it helps you in your weekend plans. You should join Let's See South Florida. If you're not already, I presume you are. I mean, it's 86,000 strong. But you should join it. It's a really cool group. They go off the reservation once in a while, but Mayo does his best to bring them back to earth. So coming up in about 25 minutes, we will have Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet. I think Monday we will have Jeff DeForest back. I really don't know. He's in New Orleans. He messaged me on the chat, so I guess he's in New Orleans. So that's good. Thank God he's okay. Hopefully he doesn't lose his shirt. He's been doing pretty well lately in the world of gambling. So hopefully he comes back wealthier or as wealthy as he left. Coming back, you'll have more of me. We'll talk a little bit about the Dolphins as they have preseason game number 2. As of now, Mike McDaniel has not announced if Tua will play. I think it would be dumb to not at least play him a couple series. If Justin Fields can play a couple series, Tua's got to get out there a little bit. I'd love to see Tyreek Hill a little bit. So they play tomorrow. They welcome the Raiders to South Florida. We'll talk a little bit about that. And a little bit, Tom Brady. Tom Brady not being in camp isn't the biggest deal because the guy is 45. Like, he shouldn't even do camp or preseason. But it is weird that they don't know when he's coming back. And the rumors are weird of why it could be happening. So talk more about that. This is the Defo Show. No Defo, just Lubie, right here on South Florida Live.
Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Mr. Pentangeli, were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under Capo regime under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
Mr. Pentangeli, you are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed. I ask you again, sir, here and now under oath, were you at any time a member of a crime organization headed by Michael Corleone?
I don't know nothing about that. Oh. I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
We have a sworn affidavit. We have it. Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. So I made up a lot of stuff about Michael Corleone because that's what they wanted. But it was all lies. Everything. And I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
It's now time for the Defo Show.
Welcome back, one and all, to the Defo Show. No Defo, just Lubie here on South Florida Live. We do this each and every day, 7 to 9 a.m. here. And then at 12 o'clock, we have Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. I am working on some other programming. The idea of South Florida Live is to be more than sports, right? Because if you watch or listen to our show through the years, sports is our basis, but we talk about everything. We touch on everything. And that idea of shut up and dribble, that's not us. We talk about everything. We try not to get too into politics. And if we do, we try to cover both sides. You know, we don't hide how we lean, but we'll make fun of everybody. You know, we talk about everyone. That's just what we do. So we've always had that idea of having like a network that has really talented people who either are in the business and want to do more, or in the business and are trying to get back in, or never got a shot and deserve a shot. So I'm going to bring some interesting, different things, hopefully to you with a South Florida feel, either out of South Florida or from South Florida, or we're about South Florida or about South Florida. So right now we have our show. We have Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, which covers the food scene all over Broward County. Maybe we'll get to Dade at some point. Maybe we'll get up to Palm Beach, but we focus on Broward right now. And we also have the Greeks plays of the day, as he again is 16-6-1. He joined us, joined me, joined you about 40 minutes ago, and he went his 3. That's what I give him. Not only has NFL preseason plays, he has 3 preseason plays. He likes Carolina getting 3 and a hook over New England. He likes the Raiders getting 1 over the Dolphins. They travel to Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow night, and he likes the Bengals getting 6. I still don't know who they're playing. I know I should look it up. It's not like I have a lot of time on my hands. But Bengals, it's 6. I don't know why the Bengals would be getting 6. I know Burrow probably won't play, but like he has the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, it's the Giants. Yeah, but because the Giants are taking. Oh, that's what it is. It's the Giants with a new coach, and they have a questionable quarterback, so they're going to actually give a shit. And the Bengals have their quarterback. They have their stud receiver. They have their running back. Their coach, you think, is set, so they're going to scale back. So the Bengals are getting 6. And he's like, screw it. I mean, the Giants are bad enough where even favored. Sorry, Mike Nyman, even favored because they're going to care in the preseason. The Greek's like, I don't care. So those are his 3 plays. It was 3-1-1 with his preseason plays, both on South Florida Live and on our show last week. And again, he's 16-6-1 overall. So he's doing well. And for years, like I said earlier in the show, we've had the Greek for years. We mock it because, again, you don't know who's playing. It's not a joke. Like, a lot of these people will be doing UPS work. There's nothing wrong with UPS. People, they make decent money doing UPS or Amazon. Now, see, the joke was UPS. Now it should be Amazon delivery driver. I don't know. I think Amazon does a lot more delivering than UPS these days. But, you know, a lot of these guys will be doing something else other than football. So to me, to get into it, to watch it, let alone put money on it, that's tough. You know, but the Greek has done it his whole life, and he's not gambling like he used to, but he still pays attention to the NFL preseason and makes plays and picks, and he does a good job at it. So he joined us earlier, the professor. I have not been able to wrangle him, so we may have our first week in a long time without. Oh, we didn't have one a couple weeks ago when he was out of town in Costa Rica, but our first week where he's in town without a big board top 5. If you are missing that, if you've never seen it, it's friggin' classic. It's hilarious. Just check some of our old shows. Every Friday show, he's done it for the most part at about the 1 hour mark, thereabouts. So go to South Florida Live. Hopefully you're subscribed already. If not, subscribe and check out past Professor's big boards because they're hilarious. He pushes the envelope. It's not for the faint of heart, I guess. If you're, very sensitive about things, that's fine. I wouldn't watch it because he pushes it. But if you're open and you like a good laugh, he does it each and every week for the most part. and he makes us howl because he's hysterical. So check those out. And the Gambling Gourmet will join me in about 15, 20 minutes, and we will talk some food. And who's this? Oh, God. Yeah, but because you're a lunatic, Am. Like that. You're a crazy. I'll give New York fan. Look, when they say South Florida fans are shitty fans, no, I just think they're not lunatic. Like, we are realistic to the Canes fans are weird. I'll say Canes fans are like, either my team's the best or my team's the worst. There's no middle with Canes fans. Like, Canes fans are not realistic. Like, they expect to win 11 games this year. And if Mario only wins 7, they're going to want to fire Mario. Like, they can say whatever they want. They're lying. Like, they're going to want to fire him. Like, if Mario wins 6, 7 games this year, which is what should happen. Tyler Van Dyke is getting way too much credit. Like, the dude was good for half a season, and then the second half he was in. And he played a FSU defense that was improved with probably the best defensive player overall in college football outside of, like, Davis from Georgia and Anderson from Alabama. Jermaine Johnson was insane, and he had a monster game. Van Dyke was horrendous in that game. And, yeah, the second half when FSU was up big and they pulled back a little bit, Van Dyke, and all they could do was throw. Van Dyke put up decent numbers, and he's a good quarterback, but I don't know about this Heisman garbage or this top 10 pick stuff. So the expectation for the Canes is weirdly high. If Cristobal, I say if, because you never know, if the Canes win 7 games, Canes fans are going to lose their mind, which is dumb, because that's what 6, 7 games is what I would think they're going to do. Anything over is positive. Most South Florida fans, we're too realistic. I'll give New York fans credit. Met fans, the Mets have broken their hearts for years. And yeah, the lovable loser thing is sort of there. But the minute they're in first place by a few games, not Mike Nyman, not the older Met fan, the younger Met fan forgets about it, and it's go, go, go. Jet fans, very similar. I love my buddies that are Jets fans. Love them. And they're honest to a point, but no matter what the Jets do, they're really into it. I'll give them that. Like, they're not insane. Like, they're not like, oh, the Jets are going to win Super Bowls. It's the opposite. They expect the Jets to lose, but they're very into it. Like, I'll give them credit. Like, down here, we're not that. Like, if our teams are good, cool, we're into it. If our teams are bad, what's the next sport I can watch? New York fans, I don't know if they're unrealistic. They're just into it. Like, no matter what their team's doing, good or bad, they're into it. They're gonna go to the games. They're gonna buy the goddamn shirts. They're gonna wear the fucking shirts. They're gonna be on the blogs. They're gonna be tweeting. The Knicks. Oh my God, we may get Mitchell. Oh, we're not gonna get Mitchell, but it's okay. I love Quickly. Quickly's really done nothing. No one knows who Quickly is, but I love him. Like, Knicks fans will throw their whole being into goddamn being a fan, even though their team it's like the Dolphins. The difference is Dolphins fans do not do that. Like, Dolphins fans are very But again, I don't mind that because they've been as a franchise for 20-something years. To me, I think it's sensible. Andy makes fun of it because Andy's like old school New York guy where you're into it no matter what. I don't get that. Like, what part of life, if something sucks, do you keep throwing money at it? Like, if you go to a shitty movie, I've never walked out because I'm cheap as fuck. If I'm spending $30 for a movie, I'm finishing it. It could be the most dreadful thing. Surely could be passed out in the corner. I'm finishing this movie. But most people, if a movie sucks, they'll get the hell up and they'll leave. Right? Or if they hear it sucks, they just never will go. Like, who's like, oh, I've heard that movie's horrible. Come on, honey. Let's go watch that crap ass movie. Like, what part, if you hear a restaurant's horrendous, if Mayo comes on today and tells you this place sucks, when are you like, hey, babe, let's go watch this crap. Let's go eat at this really horrible place. I heard it sucks. Who does that? So to me, sports is the same thing. It's entertainment. Look, I follow my teams no matter what because I'm a raving lunatic. But I understand those that don't. I understand if your franchise has sucked for 15 years straight, 15 years, your franchise has sucked. Not been okay, sucked. Dolphins, Knicks, Jets have had some moments at least, but Dolphins and Knicks, right? I can understand a fan going, screw you. The Panthers, right? I can understand the fact that we don't have there's a pocket of Panther fans down here in South Florida for the most part because they made the playoffs now, 4 times in the last, God, is it 26 years? Jesus. In 26 years, they made the playoffs 4 times. In a sport where 60% of the teams make the playoffs every year, like more than half make the playoffs in hockey every year. They've just made the playoffs 4 times, won 1 series in 26 years. So I can understand people being, so what the hell? Why would I spend money on that? Why would I care? Prove it to me. Prove it to me. I think that's logical. And I get it. Being a fan is short for fanatic. I get it's not logical. Anyone who's watched me, Amp seen me, my buddy Amp, I'm a loon. You've now heard clips. I'll find one of them of my family in a game. My team won. My team won that game, yelling and screaming, yelling and screaming. So I'm not that fan. Okay, I'm a lunatic no matter what. I'm ride or die no matter what. But I can also understand fans that get really bored and tired of the losing. Like, I get that. What I will say is that is not New York fans. Like Philly, New York, Boston, Chicago, maybe even LA. LA is laissez-faire, but they're fans. They're interesting. I give them credit. Like, we're not like that down here. Now, I think it's history. I talked about this the last time I was by myself. I think when you have a history, if a team's been around since 1920, like, you build a rapport where it becomes just second nature. Like, it's like a limb. Like, even if, you don't use your limb very often, it's there, whatever. Like, it becomes a part of you. So even when they're you still support them because that's just natural. I get that. We don't have it here. Outside of the Dolphins are the one franchise we've had for a long time. And the funny thing is, when people talk about the Mets, don't they talk about the Mets like they're the new team? They've been around 60 years, and they're the new team. Yeah, because New York's teams have been around since the 20s and 30s. Even the Knicks were around since, what, the 50s, 60s? Like, maybe before then. Like, South Florida doesn't have that. Our oldest team is 60 years. Less. Dolphins haven't even been around 60 years. So, like, we don't have that connection. Plus, South Florida is very transient. Now, New York is transient. It is, too. But, again, there's a history. There's all the teams. Literally all. The Rangers have been around fucking forever. The Knicks, forever. The Yankees, forever. The Mets are new, and they've been around longer than any, or as long as any South Florida team. Even the colleges have played sports forever there. Syracuse is one of the early with the leather helmets or no helmets. Like, when that's the case, of course, it makes sense that you'd be a loon. We don't have that, so why would we be crazy? But I give them credit. Like, the Jets don't win. I didn't mean to say that they're unrealistic. They're actually very realistic. Met and Jet fans are very realistic, but they're in. No matter what the fuck. Zach Wilson looks like garbage. Zach Wilson now was hurt. The Jets literally jumped over and around to get Zach Wilson. So most fan base would be like, oh my God. No, Jet fans are in. My buddy Amp watching Jet preseason games, even though they don't have a quarterback. They don't have their left tackle. I can't name you anyone on their defense. Every good defensive player they've had, they've gotten rid of for one reason or another. Like, their coach was supposed to be the savior. By year 2, people are already questioning the crap out of Saleh. So, but Jet fans are in. So I give them credit. We don't have that here. We don't have the connection. Like, our teams have been around for 20 years, and they've dicked with us. They've been around for 20 years, and outside the Heat, they fuck around. They're not committed to winning. Like, the Mets won a lot early, and even though the Mets were dreadful until Cohen's the one that gives a shit. Until the Wilpons, they tried. They failed a lot, but they tried. The Jets, they failed a lot, but they tried. Like, our organizations don't try. Like, the Marlins, the Panthers, it's a lot of So it's hard to get from your ownership and then not give it back. So again, my buddy talking about Jets preseason, good for him. The Dolphins, I'm excited about the Dolphins. I'm actually excited. The Dolphins have reason to be excited, Dolphins fans. And I watched the end because Skylar Thompson, you could see people are going to love it. He was missing he missed like 5 throws that would have led to touchdowns. But he, for a 7th round pick, is in total ass. So you could tell that was going to be the story because everyone loves the backup that no one's ever heard of. So I was like, all right, let me watch the end of this game. It's close. I see you, Mayo. I see you. Everyone, the game was close, and they love the backup. Oh my God, who is this guy? Story. So I'm like, let me watch this. Outside of that, I would not have watched it. And if Tua plays, I'll watch this series, and I won't watch. So again, Giant fans, Jet fans, Pittsburgh fans, like Northeast fans that are like ridiculously rabid and loyal, I give you credit. I'm a lunatic, and even I'm not that rabid and sadistic when it comes to my fandom. A man who is sadistic when it comes to a sandwich. The one and only Mike Mayo will be joining me next. He's on, I think it's like 28 sandwiches. Like, I really do think he's had in, because I guess today counts, and he's going to have another one today. In 18 days, I think he had 28 or 27 sandwiches. I mean, good for him. That's a lot of bread. We're going to add to it. Coming up today, just after 12 o'clock with Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here in South Florida Live. Also, check it out on Facebook, South Florida Live, or at SoFly Live. All the socials, actually, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SoFly Live. And coming up next, we do this each and every week. We steal some of his time for his alter ego, the Gambling Gourmet. Mike Mayo will join all of us next, right here on the Defo Show. No Defo, just Lubie, here on South Florida Live.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Good evening, world. Good morning. Good afternoon. Whatever the hell time it is.
Wow, we're mixed up.
Well, no, I mean, you never know. I don't know how time people listen to us.
It's evening somewhere, like in India,
exactly.
where we got the best
I
of Del Rey.
I say that at trivia, so I get used to saying good evening, and I don't know, it's one long day this week. Welcome, the man you see and hear each and every day right here, or he's still doing his radio thing for now. The one and only Mike Mayo with the Gambling Gourmet. Good morning, Mr. Mayo. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning, Lubie. Wow, it's like what a scrambling day. I mean, we got no Defo, no Professor. You are wearing your Superman cape. You have to do it all today. And what I didn't realize is, usually it's the split screen, so things aren't as pronounced. But watching you today, working solo, more than ever, I'm bothered by things in the background, like the furniture. What is that? It's like I've seen. You remember, like you used to go to your grandparents' house, and it was like the furniture was wrapped in like plastic or whatever. So what is this? You've got like a checkered flag draped.
It's a crib. They made when we were on Ion. They hated the sight of the crib. I'm like, dude, it's a ridiculous background I'm in. Like, I've just accepted it. Like, I've gotten used to the point of a lot of what we do here is where we peel the curtain back and just leave it open.
Right.
Me,
There's no sense in having green screens of.
If I'm doing it at my parents' house because we just started this thing, and look, if you've watched, put it this way, if you've watched the Lunchbox, the transformation of the Lunchbox over the last 2 months, we're gonna get there. The one thing Defo and I have, I think, shown you over 12 years, we grow. It just takes time, and we do it in front of your face. Like, we don't do it behind the scenes. You're gonna see our transformation. So to me, we just started this thing. It was in the middle of the goddamn night. I'm at my parents' house. It is what it is. But they're like, well, if you're going to have a crib, you should cover it. Yeah, because that, this fucking ridiculous thing is better. And there's a bed What do you want from me? I look.
It looks like some exercise plank or something like a yoga mat. Like, do you do your downward dogs in the breaks or
Exactly.
something like that?
I
And
don't know. It's
like
just
great.
stupid.
It's so good. Well, I'm a little concerned about Professor. I just, usually it's not like him to just kind of not show up, especially when I think there's so much ripe for the taking in terms of the big board skewering this week. But I'm going to refrain. I'm not going to wail on anybody or anything in the NFL preseason, Deshaun Watson or whatever else is going on. Hey, is it me? Does my face look skinnier? These walks
You
of
look
life.
good. You look. The walk is working. I don't know how you put it.
So you mean the 6 sandwiches I had yesterday didn't? Hasn't been deterred.
No, exercise, man. People hate exercise. And Defo, it's funny that Defo, who's Mr. Walk, when he was starting it out and he made fun of himself, oh, it's walking. I'm like, you understand if you walked 5 miles, you walked 5 miles. Like, who gives a crap that you look like an old fart walking? Like, getting out there and being active is
Just
better than
doing
not.
it.
You know?
Yeah, no, and it's going to be a hectic morning today for me. Because after this, I'm gonna go to the gym with my daughter. Actually, she goes to the YMCA
Nice.
in Hallandale. I don't belong. I don't have a membership. I'm too cheap to pay, but they have a nice walking circle in the Hallandale parks there. So I do my 3 miles there while she's exercising. Then I got to go run up and for today's sandwich edition of the lunchbox. Every day. I've lost track, and I was gonna tally up my total before you said I had to come on a little bit early. So I've lost track, Lubie. I know yesterday we had 5 sandwiches. That was pretty incredible there. And now that actually Defo is gone, not that it's ever stopped me before from eating, but I'm gonna start the morning.
Oh, really?
With eating some of the leftover sandwich. We have the muffaletta that this Tom Azar made, and I'm dropping it everywhere. But
let me
the
ask
muffaletta, this was like
how does that
muffaletta light.
compare the Tom T's, because you are you're of the New York Jewish background, so you love a big sandwich. Again, like I've talked about, I'm not a big sandwich guy. It wasn't a small sandwich. It just was half of what Tom T did. So how does the smaller muffaletta, now that you're eating it, probably for the second time, compared to like the massive muffaletta? Like, what would you rather? And not that one's better or worse, just how does it compare? Like, inundation of meat to, oh, that's a nice amount of meat.
This was positively dainty, in comparison to last week's. Last week up at Tom Tennessee and Tom's Louisiana Kitchen up at Novo Brewing in Boynton Beach. That was like murder by muffaletta. That was like, that thing was so big. I had to unhinge. He was going, obviously.
Yeah, he was going over the
Let
top.
me finish up. He was going for the shock effect, shock and awe. I wouldn't necessarily say it was an easy sandwich to eat. In fact, you needed kind of like an ice pick to get at it. Yes, this one, Tom Azar, again, he worked in New Orleans. He grew up in Chicago, broad shoulders. Obviously, it's Chicago, his tribute. But since he worked in New Orleans, he makes a muffaletta. And it's a pretty good one. He's got some spice on it in his olive tapenade. I don't know what he's putting in the olive salad that you dress the sandwich with. Or maybe I'm just getting a hit of, he put some of that spicy, looks like pepperoni.
Peppercola or whatever.
Yeah. And it's good. It tastes really nice and balanced. I don't like the bread. It's like, I don't know what kind of sesame semolina roll. Usually the ones you get in New Orleans are really the big, hefty, crusty ones. Tom got one from a place he calls Western Beef. I guess it's a market up there. That was, also a little bit like kind of, it's not like fresh baked bread. I don't know if this is fresh baked or where Tom from Broad Shoulders got it. But anyway, despite that, delicious breakfast for me this morning. And I've lost track. I think I'm at 20. What's today?
Because you were at 20 something and we had 5. You get credit for 5.
I think I'm at 26 or 27. I was going to tally up the whole list. By today's lunchbox, I will have the whole list and rattle it off. And this is where I need some help from you, Lubie, because so it's going to be a crazy morning scrambling around after doing my exercise and going to the Y down in Hallandale. We're going to shoot up, me and my daughter, up to the Pramonti Brothers on the beach on Fort Lauderdale Beach, which is open 24 hours, and grab our sandwiches for today's lunchbox, because what Jim Sarney told me is that, and I have no idea if any of this is true, I got to look it up and confirm it, but that it's National Potato Day. And I was thinking, how do you combine a potato with a sandwich? And then I remembered, of course, Pramonti Brothers, the famous Pittsburgh joint that has locations down here.
Yep.
An interesting fun fact: the Pramonti Brothers sold out to one of these big private equity firms, kind of the same way Anthony's Coal Fired Pizza did down here. But there's still, I believe, it's one location that's owned by the original ownership, and it's not even the one in Pittsburgh; it's the one here.
Oh,
on
really?
the beach in Fort Lauderdale, because the guy who is one of the founders, and I forget his name, I think it's Nicholas something. He lives up in Delray Beach, actually. So he decided to keep this one, I guess, just to kind of have a little sentimental journey. And Pramonti Brothers, on every sandwich, they pile on French fries and coleslaw on top of the sandwich.
Oh, there's coleslaw too?
Yeah, coleslaw.
Oh,
that's the signature Pramonti Brothers sandwich. So I'm gonna go up there. But what I don't know is whether to go with lunchtime. Well, it's lunchbox, but like on the menu already. Not had, but like they have it. I was looking at it, they have like a hot salami with provolone cheese. I think that might be good because I haven't had any
French fries
this month. Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so they do French fries. I thought it was a hamburger with French fries. I didn't realize because I've never eaten there.
That's their signature dish. I think they call it the big something. I don't know what it is, but it's like a hamburger on a hoagie roll, which I don't know whether that counts as a sandwich or not now anymore. The way that Defo has all these rules, because burgers are usually its own category. But I say if burger is not on a burger bun and it's more on a like hoagie roll. And you load it up, that might count. So I might get that. I might get the salami. I don't know if you have a look at the menu, but they also have these breakfast sandwiches. So maybe I'll do like an egg and sausage with peppers and have the French fries on top of that. That's in the running. So I guess we'll just leave it up to I either have the audience vote on it, or I'll just let my daughter decide, or maybe I'll throw a dart at the dartboard and figure it out. But
something different. I mean, as long as it's different, it works for me.
It is. Yeah, it is indeed National Potato Day. I'm looking at the Ministry of Silly Food holiday calendar, and yes, Friday, August 19th, National Potato Day, so everybody could go out and eat a French fry. Or in Defoe's case, when he gets to New Orleans, he could try to find a bag of greasy, horrible, green and black Wise potato chips. Although in New Orleans, you got to have Zappos, the voodoo chips. That's
we had those yesterday. Those are but yeah. So what I found interesting about Broad Shoulders, which is something we've talked about a lot with these restaurants, and it's something that I sort of already knew in my life, but I appreciate that you actually agree to this, is and Defo, maybe because of his wife, doesn't always take this stance, but to me, we grew up, like, if you're going to a deli or a diner, there's certain things you get, and there's certain things you can get, but understand what you're getting, okay? You're going to get
at your own risk.
Meatloaf, pot roast, hot open face sandwiches are good. A deli sandwich is a good move. Chicken parm, they always have it. It's not horrible, but it's usually the sauce comes right out of the thing, and they put it on chicken and cheese on top of that. That's what you're getting.
Yeah. You hate the sauce squirt. When the sauce squirts everywhere, especially like on your jacket or whatever. It's.
Well, I'm just saying it's not homemade. You're not getting a gravy. Like, it's a diner with chicken parm. Know what you're getting, right? So what I found interesting about Broad Shoulders is the diversity of sandwiches is so much that I would assume, and I wasn't saying it to be rude in front of them. Like, I said it in front of them, like, oh, they have a po' boy. I wonder if it's good, and I said it in front of Tom, not to be rude, but there's such a diversity of freaking sandwiches. Right. And I'm like, some must be their wheelhouse, and some they're throwing in for people, but they're like, get at your own risk. No, we had 5 very different sandwiches, and every single sandwich. Look, the mayonnaise on the Cuban is, I'm born and raised South Florida, so the mayonnaise sort of threw me off. But most people would like that on a Cuban, so I can't even give them crap for that. Every sandwich was good, and it was so different. And that's the one thing I give them a lot of credit over some of the places. Like, what their thing is, what their thing isn't.
I tried Defo all the time when he goes through the wrong thing. Like, you should know when you go into a Greek restaurant, you don't order a steak, you order the lamb. And You would think people would know this if they're over 70 years old, but hey, not everybody is the Gambling Gourmet, and we forgive Defo for that. Was he watching it on the plane? I saw he chimed in on
Yeah,
the
he
Facebook,
chimed in. I
so
think he's
that's
there already. The flight was at 6, so
Wow.
they might have actually been on time because it was such an early flight. That
Isn't it funny that he was right? He was initially right because he was talking about last week. Oh, I'm going to miss next Friday's show. We got the flight. It's the crack of dawn, 6 a.m. And then all of a sudden it turned to, oh, no, I was wrong. It was 6:30 p.m. We could do the show. And then next thing you know, nope, it was 6 a.m. So I don't know if it was I guess they realized that Caesars, that if they want to get more money out of these whales, you got to get them there early in the day.
Yep.
And then they'll be gambling all day long. So you got to do the morning flight. And especially in the summertime, what I've learned is I always take the first flight of the day. The pilots, while they might be a little hungover, hopefully not too drunk. And and again, there's like the plane and the crews are already at that station for overnight, and then they get to the airport first thing in the morning. The flight's going to get out. There's not any weather delays across the country. But when you take that 6 p.m. flight in the summertime, when you have thunderstorms breaking out everywhere, and it's just a nightmare. And that's where you hear like, oh, it took me 24 hours to get.
It happened to Shirley last week. She was in Philly, and she had a 6:30 flight. And was canceled. And the next day, they had a 6:30 flight that almost got canceled. So, yes, actually, I never thought about that. You don't deal with connecting flights if you leave on the first flight.
If you live long enough, these are part of the Gambling Gourmet's rules is like, never shoot pool against a guy named Fats, never play poker against a guy named Slim. Always eat at Joe's, because any place named Joe's is usually pretty good. Joe's Stone Crab. There was a Joe's restaurant out in Venice Beach, California, that used to be excellent. And here I am, like Defo, talking about restaurants that don't exist anymore. Joe's Diner up in Berkshire, Massachusetts, up in the Berkshires. That's great. So always eat at Joe's. Don't play pool against Slim. Don't play poker. Oh, don't play poker against Slim. Don't shoot pool against Fats. And always take the first flight of the day, because you just save yourself a lot of aggravation. So
Defo followed your advice, and he's out. But yeah, that's something I noticed about Broad Shoulders. Because even look, when we've gone to these restaurants every week, they'll bring out a ridiculous amount of stuff now, especially with video. It's coming to our favor.
I love it.
They're bringing out so much food, but they'll say, this, try this. We do this, and they'll have like a tone where they're not saying it's bad, but they're sort of bringing on your expectations. Every sandwich, and they're not a sponsor. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's not that I was surprised. I was just like, like they're probably not great with this. They do a Reuben. I'm like, a place like that usually is not great for a Reuben. Like, the Reuben was great. Like, that was a really good Reuben.
And then I got, Tom's last name is Azar. So I'm figuring that sounds a little Jewish to me. Okay. I didn't ask him if he's Jewish, but I imagine that corned beef is in his background. And, there's a big Jewish community in Chicago, and so he makes his own corned beef, and that
was great.
That Reuben sandwich here, which I have in congealed refrigerated form right here, but he makes his own corned beef in house, and you could tell the difference when you get it's a hand sliced product that's absolutely delicious. I'm going to go in right now for another little breakfast night.
I can't even.
No Defo. Apologies to all the sacrosanct people from Syracuse School of Broadcasting, whose first commandment is "Thou shalt not eat on the air."
Look, what's funny is, as a tribes person myself, I don't really like Reubens. We talked about this. I'm not a big Swiss cheese person, so like I usually do my own thing with a Reuben. I like, I guess, a Rachel. I don't know what the hell they call it, but
that's good for me. Yeah,
I like the corned beef. And I don't mind and see, that's what it is. I'd rather coleslaw, do the Southern thing, than sauerkraut. And then I don't need the cheese. Like, I don't need cheese on it. And I like the Thousand Island. So that's what I normally would want to do when I get a sandwich. I futz with it. I do a stang, I guess, where I create my own Rachel Reuben thing. But I'm not gonna lie, I make Reubens more if they're like that, because I really like that sandwich. Like, that was really
so good. And again, I'm with you. I'm like a purist when it comes to my deli meat. Let me get this last bit down. I'll wash it down with my grumpy cup of coffee here.
Go for it. I don't need the coleslaw is okay, and then I don't need anything else. Like, I don't need Swiss cheese or sauerkraut.
So no, I mean, again, I usually just like my deli meat with a little deli mustard on rye, and that's it. You don't need to clutter it up. But this guy Tom, just like our other friend Tom, they're trained veteran chefs, so they know how to put things together. They've worked in some high-end kitchens. I mean, this Tom Azar worked for Emeril Lagasse, and Emeril, before he became kind of this cartoon character with the BAM and being one of the first Food Network stars, he was a really accomplished chef. His places in New Orleans, they had people packed in the waiting in lines to go get there and eat there. And so obviously he knows what he's doing in the kitchen, and he knows how to put together good ingredients, and he makes his own sauerkraut, which is great because sometimes the commercial sauerkraut, they're too vinegary. It tasted, it was like a mellow kraut that really worked well. Every component of every sandwich, I was shocked, like you, because it all worked. I've been in there before, and I had one different sandwich. I had the Italian beef, I had a fried chicken, but I hadn't had the whole range of things.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, and this is where people get into the cultural appropriation debate. Oh, can a gringo make a good Cuban sandwich or Mexican? Like, I don't care the background or nationality of who's making my food. If they know how to prepare it well and right, and it's good, I'm gonna eat it. And that Cuban sandwich, it blew me away because I've been looking for a good Cuban in 954, and he's proper. He's okay apart from the mayonnaise, and you could just tell him to hold the
Well, I would
mayo.
just say no mayonnaise. Yeah, just say no mayonnaise.
But for him, he actually roasts his own pork, and then he slices it thin, like on a slicer, like ham and pork shoulder or pork that pork roast that you put it on a roll and you layer it, and it's supposed to be a thin, flat sandwich. And nowadays, you find all these people using that lechon asado, and here I am. I'm in high lunchbox mode.
Yeah, but
We're
I
supposed to
wanted
be
that.
gambling.
Before you came on, I talked about it. I wanted your food.
Yeah, and I love it. So what I was thinking back is, like, if I had to rank those 5 sandwiches yesterday from like top to bottom in terms of what I liked the most, how would you rank them? Because they were all good and they're a high bar. But what would be your one through 5? Because we had 5 sandwiches yesterday.
I don't know. Look, I actually gave Shirley the Cuban yesterday because I couldn't. And it's funny. We have Maddie that comes out from Visit Lauderdale, and she's on the thinner side. So that's why I cut him into 4 pieces. I love seeing her eat. It's like Nikki Mayo, Mohan. Like, I love seeing her eat. Like, I love.
Oh, she dives in with relish, like me. Yeah, she just like.
And Maddie's like that. Like, Maddie will eat whatever we give her. So that's why, if you notice, I cut them all in the 4s because I didn't want her to get left out. And I did the math.
Very, very considerate of you. That's one more. You're moving up the food scale entirely, and the way that you sacrificed, and we did the surf and turf the other night at Tropical Acres, and that's the other thing we got to discuss. We've settled the debts. We are back to even Steven. But we'll talk about the next bet and whether I'm going over and under on the Dolphins line at 8.5. We got time. I'm waiting until September 1st before I give my final decision on that. To talk with Defo more about that, and we can make it the dinner at Anthony's Runway 84 if we open.
We'll do that for this. But that's the thing is, like, I did the math, and I'm like, okay, so if each of us get a quarter of 5 sandwiches, that's a sandwich and a quarter. I'm like, and these are big sandwiches. So I did the math ahead of time. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to eat all these. Like, there's just no way. And I'm glad they gave us boxes. So I honed in on the Reuben because I was just really curious. I look, the Jew in me, when it comes to deli sandwiches, I'm sort of a snob about it. Like, not even that I like them. My parents are just really big on it. So I'm always like, I wonder. And it's a sandwich place, but I don't think of that as a sandwich place thing. I think of that as a deli thing. So when you're doing po' boys and Italian beef sandwiches, I'm curious what it would be. So that's what I just focus on. And I can't eat a lot at one time. Like, I like a lot of things, but I can't eat a lot of food.
So you did not did you sample each sandwich or not? You didn't?
I took a bite of the chicken because it was a big ass piece of chicken. Like, I usually, when you get these, I'm so used to Chick-fil-A or like where it's a nice piece. Like, the chicken was ridiculous. It was like a pound piece of chicken. So I needed a bite of it. I took a bite of the Cuban because I wanted to see what the mayo did for it. And I ate a whole quarter of the Reuben. I brought home the rest of the Cuban to finish later, and Shirley ate it, and she like scarfed it. I'm like, I guess the mayo's enough. I warned her. I'm like, there's mayo. You wouldn't have known because she ate the crap out of it. She like annihilated the freaking sandwich, and she loved it. And I have the Italian beef I'm going to try later today. But so for me, the Reuben is number 1. But I don't think I would be able to grade them if I had eaten all of them a bite. If I had just done the bite thing, where like we do at the tastings, and really allow myself to taste it, I don't know how it would grade them because everything. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. It's sort of, I don't know if it's a trend, but like I found this interesting. One creamery Now, the sandwich shop, a lot of places we're going to are that show the bear is this. It's these classically trained chefs who have said, screw that world. I
Right.
want to
Forget
go to a
fine
sandwich
dining.
shop
Yeah.
or ice cream or like why do you think that is? Like, I'm curious because I think it's cool, but it feels like a departure. Like it's war. It's hell going through these places to finally get to like the top and then go, like I find that interesting.
Well, fine dining is fading out and it's not as profitable as it used to be. And it's a really long grind. And, you got to be in there doing your prep at the early part of the day and you're doing all kinds of other things. So it turns into these 16-hour days because the dining rooms don't close until 10 is the last seating. And then people don't finish until midnight and then you're cleaning up. So you're there from basically 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. and these long days. And now what guys like my friend Keith Fryman, who operates Bake Shack, very accomplished pastry chef who worked at some of the finest restaurants in town in Miami. But he had the chance to open up this like breakfast and lunch joint where he bakes his own donuts and pastries. For the first few years before he had some bakers that he hired that he could trust, he was in there, every night at 2 a.m. But the thing is, he could get out of there by noon. And, like the restaurant itself is open from 7 to 2 or 3. So you get the evenings, you get family time again. So these guys like this, Broad Shoulders, they're open from, 11 till 7. So it's not the insane hours. It's still long hours and you still got to be there to make sure everything is right. And there's something kind of, it's nice where you could just like focus on a kind of smaller menu and make everything as good as it possibly can be. And yeah, all these sandwiches, the bread, all the different breads that he uses, or all the different toppings, everything was appropriate and different. And I'm gonna rattle off my rankings because, like you, I was surprised. I was surprised by how much I like the Reuben, considering I usually don't like those busy deli sandwiches. And again, everything kind of made in house, except some of the bread. But the Reuben was number one, Cuban was number two, and let me add the pickles. He makes his own pickles there, and having that house made pickles on a Cuban sandwich, that makes a difference. So it's Reuben, Cuban, and then I guess I'm gonna go Italian beef, chicken. And the Muffletto came in last because I was spoiled by Tom Tease, who I thought his olive sal was a little bit better. No offense. I mean, this is all operating on a high plane. This is all operating above the Gambling Gourmet recommended.
He had a 4, and I was going to wait till the lunchbox since we're already here, though. You've only given 1 4 in your 45 sandwiches that you've eaten. You've only given 1 4. Do any of those hit the 4 mark?
Yeah, the Reuben hit the 4. That was a perfect sandwich.
Shit.
The Reuben was perfect. And the only reason that the Cuban wasn't was because it had mayonnaise as a default condiment, and I got to deduct points for that as a classic. Again, when I came to Miami, there was no such thing as mayo on Cuban sandwiches. It was only the yellow mustard, which is the kind of mustard that Defo hates. But the yellow mustard on a Cuban works because you need that little bit of I don't know what it is. Like the deli mustard is just kind of too
much
spicy and too much. No, I like that yellow. The yellow mustard works on certain sandwiches, and the Cuban is one of them. So that was almost a 4 if it didn't come with the mayo as a default. And if you remove the mayo, it's a 4-star sandwich.
That's what I would do if I ever go back. I would probably get the Cuban again and say hold the mayo, like just to try it without it, because you're not wrong. When the sandwich itself was as good a Cuban as you'll have, and I hate that when it's the shredded chopped pork, like it's really hard to eat.
Lechon asado. They started to use that because people say, "Oh, it's more moist."
Yeah, but it's hard to eat.
It falls out, and there was a guy who, I'm blanking on names now, but he ran a nice sandwich shop, a Cuban place called It's a Cubano B in Pompano Beach, and he was a member of the group, Let's Eat South Florida group for a while. And then I don't know if it was the pandemic that did him in, but he had to pull the plug on the place. But me and him, we would get into debates because he's a Cuban guy, and he would use the lechon asado. He used the shredded pork, the roast shredded pork on his Cuban sandwich. And I just found that to go against the whole nature of the Cuban. It should be a beautiful flat piece of thing, and it doesn't make it flat anymore. Even if you put it on the sandwich press, it still falls out when you start eating it because it's still crumbled. So this is the type of stupid shit that foodies argue about.
Yeah, but I do
And-
too. Like, it's funny. I get overanalyzed about, and look, yes, you want the most flavor. That should be the goal. But to me, organization does help. Like, especially with a sandwich, you're not using a fork and a knife. You shouldn't have.
You like a neat sandwich, and one of the reasons I sing the praises of VNS Deli up in Boca Raton so much, because the way they assemble their sandwiches, they're like little pieces of art. Like, they don't fall out. Like, the way they're assembled, it's just like an engineering marvel. And with respect to Defo and Gale, I mean, Laspada's, it's a little bit of a, let's call it, inelegant sandwich. That sometimes the way it's packed in, it falls out everywhere. And I love them. God bless them. They're very successful.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be either or, but like Defo is all fired up about these food wars. He wants to make food wars. So if we're gonna have a food wars and we're gonna put up VNS against Laspada's, I'm gonna go VNS every day and Sunday, even though I like Laspada's and I'll go there sometimes. And that's the thing about food. It's not either or, it could be both, and you can enjoy one on one day and one on another. Be that as it may, that's it. This sandwich month is killing me. I can't wait till September.
Well, and I like the idea you were talking about with Nikki off air. So that might be the thing to do for next month. I don't know if you're gonna do a whole month of salads. I feel like that would get a little boring.
No. Yeah. Well, but I could
like
try to go around to some of these Dine Out Lauderdale restaurants and try some of their menus and kind of that way hit some spots that I haven't gotten to yet around town. And meanwhile, Sarni chimes in, tuna fish sandwich with potato sticks. That's what I should eat today. No, I hate tuna fish. I'm not Defo. I'm not a 70-year-old Jewish man. I don't know why. I just don't like tuna salad. I don't mind tuna steaks, except the one that I had that was garbage at the Yard House at Gulfstream. Not to single anybody out, but I just don't like tuna salad. I don't like the way it smells. It just reminds me of cat food. And I think I had cats at one point in my life when I first got married. Michelle had cats, and having to open that can of cat food every day and pour it in the bowl, it made me gag a little bit. I gotta admit. And now every time I see it, open a can of tuna, it just triggers those memories of cat food. So maybe that's not fair. I have had some good tuna salad subs in my time.
I'll do tuna, and you won't have to smell it. And Sarnia can have his tuna quenched.
He's saying I should have tuna with potato sticks on a potato roll, but no, I got to go whole hog. I'm gonna make the trek up with the Pramonti Brothers. I'll get the sandwich, whatever one I get. I don't think I'm up for a burger today.
Do they have something that you haven't had on the show yet? Like,
yeah, salami. I haven't had a salami sandwich.
Right,
and that used to be a staple of my lunchbox, my lunch, school days.
Yeah, I love salami.
A salami, Hebrew national salami. This, I assume, is more of the Genoa Italian salami. So something about a salami, like even if it's like a hot griddled salami with melted provolone and the French fries and the coleslaw, I could get
that would probably be good.
That sounds appealing to me right now, even after I've devoured bites of two other sandwiches from yesterday's sandwich. And I'm going to tally up the number so I have an official count by the time we get to noon today. So
you'll have an exact number of how many ridiculous sandwiches this man has eaten. He'll add to the total today, just after 12 o'clock.
We didn't talk much sports today. I was going to give some horse picks, but I didn't.
Do you have anything?
Well, no, because I didn't even look because I had a scramble to get on the air early. So I'm totally disorganized. But let me ask you this. Do you see there's all kinds of panic in Dolphin land because Tua's throwing interceptions in the practices. And, does that mean he needs a series or two in the actual preseason game or his confidence getting shot now in practice because his own teammates keep picking him off? What do you think, Lubie?
I don't care. I like that he looked good because it shut people up, but he's in all of practice, he's thrown like 6 to 8 interceptions and he's thrown tons of touchdowns. And I don't think they keep statistics where they should keep statistics in practice. I'd like to see him just because I'd like to see him. I think they should play they used to play lots of time in the preseason to now
it used
play
to be one quarter. Like the second game, they would give him a full quarter.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to see him a whole quarter. I don't know if we're going to see him at all on
I don't know.
Saturday night. I didn't see McDaniel's latest
Hasn't said
quotes,
anything.
but
He's been literally non-committal. Like the Bucks are with Brady just being there.
yeah,
The Dolphins have been non-committal about, and Tua's begging. And he doesn't even do this. He's lobbying in the press because he wants to play. And I don't know if he's worried about interceptions, but he wants to get out there. Like he has all these quote unquote new toys. Like he has Edmonds and Mostert.
but let's split it. Let's think this through, Lubie. There's no red jersey. There's no non-hitting in a preseason game. Do you really? Can you imagine if he played him for 2 series and he fucking got sacked and his knee, he tore his ACL on the second series of a preseason game and he was gone for the whole year?
Well,
like then that would be the end of it, of everybody. So I can understand, the risk reward ratio these days is you almost just can't do it. You can't. And that's playing scared, but you know what? That's the reality. Like when it comes to the actual games, when it's the Patriots on that whatever second Saturday or Sunday in September, then okay, if a guy goes out there and gets hurt, that's the breaks of the game. But why risk it now? So I guess I understand, and I guess we're not going to be seeing him at all in the preseason.
Now, I think he may get a series or 2, but I don't know if he's getting more than that. And again, they're not going to take change. And that's the thing. Armstead and Williams have injury issues. They're offensive linemen that are supposed to save his ass, so you can't risk them either. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this.
So we have really no clue about what this team is going to be until
no.
the games start to actually count. And you'd have to be an insane person based on, the lines, injuries, and people moving around positions. Don't they have a left guard who's not going to be the center? And, so there's like a lot of question marks.
Yes.
And yeah, you got Tyreek Hill, but first you got to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, and you got to protect Tua. Although, McDaniel, to his credit, he's going to, I'm sure, map up these designed, the like you said, the West Coast offense and the quick outs and the quick passes and yards after catch, right? That's the big key, the big stat for the year that all the football geeks are going crazy. Yards after catch, YAC. So we'll see.
We'll see. This man has lots of sandwiches after the bell, so we'll have him on at 12 o'clock as we do each and every day right here in South Florida Live. Check out the Lunchbox today on a Shenanigans Sports Pub Friday.
Oh, I saw somebody put a question to me, like if I could create my own sandwich, what would be on it? If you would call it the mayo. The mayo would probably not have mayo on it, so we can't call it the mayo. We'd have to call it the Gambling Gourmet or something. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I'll come up with an answer by noon.
For the Lunchbox. I didn't even see this. I missed that. The big possum. We'll have Mayo's dream sandwich and what he would put on it. We'll also have what he actually eats today, the Pramonti Brothers special of the day, and so much more. Again, the Lunchbox, check it out today at 12 o'clock. And next Friday at 8:30 when we have a full-fledged Mark Lawrence, the professor, the Greek, and Mr. Mike Mayo giving his horse plays that usually do really well right here next Friday at about 8:30. Again, 12 o'clock. Check out the one and only Mike Mayo. Mayo Man, I'll see you in a few hours. Thank you, my friend. Take
care, Lubie. Job well done.
Thank you, sir. All righty. I've enjoyed all my time here, which I didn't think so. It was a little rough this morning. To Alex Sufreen's credit, I give him credit for bringing it up. I did not blow my nose on air, but Mr. Jim Cerny, I appreciate you saying it's okay. It is a life. I'm sorry about my background. My buddies are texting me. I should put up my bar mitzvah picture. My other buddy is saying, at least put up a sports poster. I'm not a 13-year-old. Like I don't need the posters. I would rather just get rid of the crib and rid of the bed. I'd rather get rid of them and just have that background. I don't need like the city of Miami. Like I don't care about that. Like when I eventually have when we get a house, which someday we'll get a house, and I have my own studio, you're not gonna have anything in the background. Like I don't need fancy ass shit in the background. I just don't want a bed and I don't want a crib. And I apologize if that's amateurish. I'm sorry. We're on the fly here on South Florida Live, but we're doing our best to bring you good content. Hopefully you enjoyed what we gave you today. I hope Defo's back Monday. I don't know. I never know with him. He did chime in here. So I presume, and he's not one to pay for internet. So I presume he is in New Orleans. So hopefully he has 3 full days and gets here and is on with you Monday or us Monday. But I don't know. We'll see if the Dolphins play Tua. We'll see what happens on a interesting sports weekend. Appreciate everyone who tuned in today for the absent Defo, for the absent professor, for the Greek. Thank you for joining me today. And Mike Mayo, who did an extended edition of the Gambling Gourmet segment. Check out Mike Mayo's Lunchbox at 12 p.m. right here on South Florida Live. And we'll check you out Monday morning on the Defo Show, hopefully with Defo and Lubie, right here on South Florida Live.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.